Thank you, Dr. Guerin, and good morning. It is so wonderful to see you all back here. I was sharing with some of you as you were coming in. It was way too quiet around here for me. And so I am so thrilled to have you back on campus, ready to get underway for a new semester. Thank you to Dr. Guerin for all of the effort and work that has gone into the preparation for this Faculty Institute. And I especially want to thank the CETL Fellows who have been working and racing alongside her as we prepare for today. Will the CETL Fellows please stand in the room so we can recognize you? Are they in the room here? Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. I'm very excited to welcome you to a new year. Happy New Year. I hope you had a wonderful time away. You had a chance to spend it the way you wanted to spend it, with family and friends, spending a lot of time there, or without family and friends, if that was your desire. If you had a chance to travel, I hope you had safe travel and a safe return back, and I'm very, very pleased to get underway for this semester. Before I go on with any remarks for this segment of the program, I do want to acknowledge the environment that we're in today. I think I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that around the country there are people who are really struggling today as the government is shut down. And it's important that we acknowledge that because it impacts everyone in our community. It impacts people on this campus. As we have a campus right outside of Washington, D.C., I'm very cognizant that your friends and family and those of you sitting here today may be impacted. So I want to acknowledge and hope and do whatever I can, and I have been speaking to legislators as I've attended breakfast meetings, and to let them know that it makes a difference. It has an impact on this community, on this campus, and in the region in which we reside. As a cabinet, we have had a discussion about what can we do as a campus community. And so in the days ahead, you will be hearing more about what we will be undertaking. We hope that the government opens very, very soon, but we will be talking as a senior leadership team to address the issues and the impact that it's having on our campus, on our community, and on the students who will soon return to this campus. I'm also concerned, and I've shared this with legislators, about the far-reaching ripple effect that this could have. As we go through preparation for the opening of the campus, we are packaging students, the financial aid packages are being prepared for the next year's class. And if our families have their credit histories impacted negatively because they can't pay their bills, that will have an impact on who comes to us and who has the opportunity to have access and affordability to a quality educational experience that we provide here at Bowie State University. So it's not lost on me or this campus and your leadership team that we need to do something, and we need to understand what this means to our community. So I will be coming back to you with more messaging. Please pay attention to your email. As we share information, we will be talking to the open forums with our staff and making sure that as a campus community, we are doing what we can to address the impact that it's having to everyone. Here on this campus, as we think about this day and the work that we're going to be doing with StrengthsFinder and the financial literacy program that is well underway, there's a special person on this campus I want to acknowledge who has been putting in very, very long hours to prepare for this program and to get our financial literacy programs up and running for our students. And she's been working tirelessly last semester, and she's an outstanding asset to Bowie State University. She is an EPA fellow, and she's on loan to us. She's a loaned executive who has been working on the campus. You may not have had the chance to meet her, but I want to take this moment to acknowledge her for her efforts, because she is now a volunteer to Bowie State University. She's on furlough from the EPA. And so I'd like to acknowledge, have her stand. I don't know where she is in the room at this time. Linda Gray, would you please stand and be acknowledged? Thank you, Ms. Gray, for all of your work, and I know we're going to have an outstanding program today, and thank you for your efforts last semester in working with our new partners, Home Free USA, and their financial management program. They have given us, the university, $50,000 in a donation to support our students and their success, as well as to engage in a new sponsorship that supports the seminars that are here on this campus to address financial literacy for our students. So that's where I want to start so that you have a context for the work that we're doing here today. In the time I have with you, I do want to, I know Dr. Guerin said we're not going to have too many lectures, and I hope I won't come across as lecturing, but I do feel it's imperative that you know what's going on here at the campus. You know, last year we talked about transparency, we talked about shared governance, and making sure that you and everyone around the campus knows what's happening here at Bowie State University. So to the best of my ability, I will continue to share information with you. You might at some point say, oh, Dr. Breaux, enough. Maybe that day will come. But for now, I want to make sure that you know what's happening here on the campus. And during the time that we were on break, there's been a lot of exciting activity happening here on the campus and in the community. I know some of you were not on break. You were teaching over the winter term, and I thank you for providing those courses that students need to graduate on time. And I hope at some point you will pull back, get a little bit of a break, take a breather before the students are back in full force. But I thank you all for what you have done in this academic year, what you will continue to do on behalf of the Racing to Excellence vision and ensuring the top 3 priorities are achieved. I do want to go into an update for you in just a moment. But as we think about this day, I want us to stay focused in a laser-like way on student success, because this is one of our top priorities as we have identified in the strategic plan. And remember, this is our strategic plan. It's not the president's strategic plan. This is the campus university BSU strategic plan. As you will recall, last year, we worked as a campus to come up with this plan, and we identified these top 3 priorities. And I'd like to now give you an update and then set the tone for what's to follow for this Faculty Institute. Let me go here. There we are. The first agenda, the first slide here, you see the top 3 priorities. I was going to quiz you on this, but I decided not to. But I hope by now you know what the top 3 priorities are. Academic excellence, student success, and the long-term viability of the institution. And there's great successes in each one of these areas. And much is owed to the work that you have provided throughout this academic year that has helped us move the needle on each one of these priorities. And so as I go through this update, I hope you see yourselves in there. Because as I've said at the outset of this academic year, I can't do this alone. The Racing to Excellence vision is about us, working together in a concerted way, collaboratively, sharing ideas, and making sure that we're holding each other up and challenging each other to do better than we did the day before. So we are moving forward, and I'm glad to share with you some highlights, some updates that have transpired over the break time and give you some ideas of where we're heading. I want to stop at this time and pause and say to you, thank you for that wonderful, wonderful commencement that happens because of the outstanding work that's happening with our faculty. It is because of you that those graduates are able to walk across that stage with bright, smiling faces, some of them not walking, some of them stepping, some of them twirling. I just say, as long as they go across the stage, keep it moving, I'm okay with that. Yes, let's celebrate our students. Keep it moving. It was a great celebration. A lot of happy faces, and that's what we're here to do, to make sure that they get across that stage. They go out into our communities, they serve our communities, they go into the workplaces, and they're able to take care of themselves and hold their heads high with the best of them out there. And we know our graduates do that. but it's because of all of your hard work. Thank you so very much for what you have done for our students. It was an outstanding, wonderful commencement ceremony. Would you give yourselves a round of applause? So we talked about the handoff at the beginning of the year. Remember that? When I asked each one of the cabinet members to stand up, and I said, I'm handing off the baton to them on this race to excellence. We're on the next leg of this race. And I challenged each one of the cabinet members, the senior leadership team, to take that baton and run with it. And they have been. I'd like to ask each of the cabinet members to stand at this time as I call their names out so that you see them, you know who they are accessible to you. To talk to them about, you need to share with them and share with me what's going on in your areas, share with your department chairs what's happening, what you need, because we are in this together. But they are available to you, and when you see them walking around the campus, as with me, you can talk to me. You can share your ideas, and that's what we want, and that's how we're going to build this team. I'd like to ask first for the Provost to stand, and I know you know her by now because she's been racing in heels around this place too. Dr. Akbaniga. Thank you, Dr. Akbaniga. I know you'll say a few more words in just a few moments. It's been wonderful to have you on board, have you as part of the team and leading the way. Next, seated next to her is Dr. Artie Travis, Vice President for Student Affairs. I'm just going to go around the table. Karen Johnson Shaheed, Chief of Staff, Vice President for Government Relations, and my right hand, left hand, and she's been making her treks back and forth to Annapolis as the session has gotten underway with our legislators in Annapolis. Thank you, Karen. Mr. Brent Swinton, Vice President for Institutional Advancement. Dr. Brian Clemens, Vice President for Enrollment Management. Mr. Tony Savia, Vice President for Administration and Finance. And Ms. Cassandra Robinson, Director for University Relations and Marketing. So this is the team that's racing to excellence. I've handed off to them. They have been working diligently, tirelessly throughout this academic year and advancing the vision and the strategic plan, as I know each and every one of you have been working so very hard as well. The President's office, there are changes happening, and it's important that we know that change is good. I think Dr. Guerin, you mentioned that earlier about change. Change is important as we continue to keep pace with the 21st century learners who are coming to our campus. And to recognize we also are lifelong learners. And today and tomorrow is about that. Making sure that we look back in the mirror and we say to ourselves, we are learners as well. And today we'll be talking a lot more about how we can take tools to enhance our learning and ensure that we're supporting students where they are, meeting them where they are. But there have been some changes on this race. And I'd like to highlight where we are with some of the personnel changes that have taken place. The search has been completed, and very soon I will be announcing to the campus as soon as we get everything signed off on a change with the communications specialist in the Office of the President. That change happened with a movement that happened with the communications specialist moving over to the testing unit. I'm hiring for a new executive assistant, and that search is underway. In the meantime, I have a temporary assistant who is supporting me, and she also is racing as well as she's getting settled in at the university. We are recruiting for a new ombudsperson, and just last week I gave the charge to that committee. They are already working, and the position is out there, and I expect that the position and the recruitment process will be completed by the end of February. Just to give some background here, an ombudsperson, as you know, is that person who comes in as the neutral party to address any conflicts that we might have on the campus. And so there will be more information coming out to you that puts parameters around how information will go to that individual. So you'll be hearing a lot more about the structure and how that person will be operating. I'm very excited to have that person coming on board, a new position that we've not had here before. But it affords us a new opportunity to sit down and talk, or have people talk to each other when there are conflicts. And we're going to have conflicts on this campus, as every campus and every organization has. But we want to make sure that we are coming together to hear each other. And so this ombudsperson will be here to help in addressing conflicts when they emerge and they rise to a certain level. So more to come on that. During the time that we were on break, you may have heard that there was an announcement that came out that yours truly, your president, has accepted an opportunity, or had accepted an opportunity to serve on the transition team for our new county executive, Angela also Brooks. I'm very honored that she asked me to serve in that capacity as a co-chair. And it was a unique opportunity to work alongside the other co-chairs. There were two. The head of Prince George's Community College, Dr. Charlene Dukes, and the head of the public school system in Prince George's County, Dr. Monica Goldson. Together, we worked on putting together a plan to give to the county executive to highlight what we believe is needed for Prince George's County. Now, it's up to the county executive to add, to delete, to do what she needs to do to advance the agenda for the county. But I'm very pleased that she brought together a team so we could look at, in a seamless way, what happens in P through 12th grade and how it connects to our post-secondary education systems, to Prince George's Community College and to Bowie State University. So I thank County Executive also Brooks, and I'm looking forward to working with her. I think she has a bright future. I think she has a wonderful vision for the county, and we'll be hearing much more about that as she settles in and sets up her team. So more to come on that. Administration and Finance under Tony Savia. He's been working very, very hard, and his team has been working hard on our new exciting entrepreneurship living learning community. As you may recall, as I talked about this project, this is a unique project that will transform this campus as it brings together and bridges the learning environments outside the classroom and inside the classroom. It will have three components. It will have the needed beds that we need for our students. You know that we're growing. Our enrollment is up. This year, the enrollment is 6,320 students. Our retention is up by 2% by just last year. Kudos to you all for addressing, yes, that deserves a because not every campus can talk about retention, and that the retention is up, their enrollment is up, and we have all of that happening here at Bowie State University. And so to keep pace with the growth that we have, we will need new beds. This year, we had to increase the number of students being housed off campus at an apartment complex up in College Park. That's not ideal. I know that's not ideal. I want the students back here on the campus. I know you do as well. And that is the best model, to have them here on the campus. But we've grown. And so that arrangement that shuttles the students back and forth throughout the day, it's just a placeholder until we can get a new facility up and running. And so I'm very pleased that we're moving along. We put out an RFQ, and we've already received responses to developers who want to work with us on this unique project that will have the needed beds. Right now, it's slated for a minimum of 450 new beds. It will also have retail space. I don't know about you, but I'm a coffee drinker. And when I'm here late in the evenings, as I was last night with our provost and some faculty members who are working on a project, and sometimes I do want that cup of coffee. And you know what? There's no place to get a cup of coffee around here. So for all the coffee drinkers and for everyone else, we hope we will be putting into this new project definitely coffee will be going in there, along with other retail operations. So we'll be talking more with you about what will be going into that space. But what's most exciting is the new Entrepreneurship Center that will go into this space. I hope by now you have heard about all of the activity that's happening here on this campus under the umbrella of entrepreneurship, including the Entrepreneurship Academy, where we have students starting up new businesses that are operating. Some are selling products in our bookstore. So please go and patronize and support our students in their new initiatives, their new startups. But there's a full agenda of activities that have been slated for this semester from that have been put together under the Entrepreneurship Academy, under the leadership of Dr. Janetta Hardy. And I didn't see Dr. Hardy this morning, but please give her a round of applause because she's just blazing trails. And so the Entrepreneurship Center will bring together all of these activities, connect us more to the community where we know that entrepreneurship is thriving, it's growing, and its startup businesses are among the segment of the economy that is the fastest growing element of the economy. So we need to be part of that, and we are. We are part of that ecosystem of entrepreneurship in the community. So there's a lot that's happened already this year and a lot more to come. Please stay tuned, go onto the calendar, see what's happening under entrepreneurship. But that new facility is designed to bring all that together, the entrepreneurial initiatives here on the campus, along with the Bowie BIC, the Bowie Innovation Center that is housed on the second floor of our College of Business. All of that's going to be happening and transforming this campus and how we connect our learning environments together. So I'm very, very excited, as I'm sure you can tell, about that project. Our budget. Let me just put with very intentional underscoring, the university is financially sound. Yes. You don't remember anything else I said here today. That's a takeaway. We are financially sound. We are doing great things in managing our resources. Do we want more? Do we need more? Yes, we do. We know that. And I'm out there pounding the pavements with many of you talking about all that's great and wonderful here and why we need more supports. But you need to know and be ambassadors for this university. When you go out and you hear about what's happening and what's going on with higher education, please tell everyone we are financially sound. We are managing our resources. And for the first time this year, we as a leadership team held a retreat to review the budget mid-year. We hadn't done that before. And the reason we're doing that is that we are managing our resources. We want to utilize our resources in a way that is strategic, aligned with our strategic goals that we have set out, those 3 priorities, but more importantly, that full strategic plan that says, here are all the action items. We want to make sure we're hitting those targets, and we're giving you the resources you need to advance the agenda. So we are on track, and we have for lower expenses this year. You have managed the budgets very, very well. The administrators are managing very, very well. We are also able to reinvest dollars because we are managing well. At the beginning of this academic year, and I want to remind you, at the beginning of the academic year, we posted on the website how we are reinvesting dollars because enrollment is up. And many of you asked me, you said, okay, if enrollment is up, what does that mean for me? What can we do to move the needle? I heard you. The senior leadership team heard you. So we went to work and we said, okay, what can we fund? So I want to remind you, because I'm hearing around the campus that some of you don't know how we reinvested. For the sake of transparency, we're putting all that information up on the website. How we reinvested the dollars and what we were asked to support, we listed that. It's there, and you can go and read what we supported at the outset of this academic year. So mid-year, we now are spending time to say, all right, are we on track? We reinvested, are we spending in the way that we said we wanted to? And so we have part 2 coming up next week for the cabinet. We're going back into retreat, and we will be coming back out to say where we are mid-year. Do we need to move some dollars around because we have expenses lower than expected? So does that mean we can reinvest in a different way, reallocate? And it's through no one's fault. what happens sometimes, you get started with a project, and you say, well, I'm moving a little slower than what I expected, and so I'm not spending in the way I expected. That's okay. But then can we use those dollars and move it over here because I have someone over here saying, well, I really could use that money over with a new project or continuing a project. Those are the discussions that are going on during the mid-year review. So I want you to know we'll be coming back to you very shortly with an update on where we are with the budget. But we are financially sound, we're moving forward, we've garnered great support from our legislators. Some of you will know already that we spoke a great deal about celebrations and recognizing people for all the hard work that has gone forth already under this vision. We need to take time out and take a deep breath sometimes, folks, and just say, we're doing some good work around here. And especially among our staff who are putting in very, very long hours. And so we did approve a new employee award recognition program. That's already been launched. We hope to we will be awarding the first recipients in May of this year for all of their hard work. So feel free to nominate people and make sure that we're saying thank you and recognizing everyone who is dedicated to making this place the place it needs to be for our student learners today. So we're very excited about that. Enrollment Management, you know that this is a new division, and under Dr. Brian Clemens, he has hit the ground running. A search is underway for a new Assistant Vice President for Enrollment Management. Finalists will be coming to the campus in March with a target date of hiring for May 1st. I would invite every one of you to come in and for the open forums, hear about from those finalists, and get to know them and have your input heard as he goes through making that decision on who to hire. The university registrar, we are going through a transition there. We have an interim registrar in place, and we will be moving very, very quickly to replace the interim who was just on board with us the registrar who was on board for just a short time. He has moved on, and we will be announcing more information about the hiring process to bring in a permanent replacement. We are going through a faster application process this year than we have ever in the last few years. We are packaging the students financially, packaging them for next year's class, as you heard me speak of earlier in my remarks. We are very, very proud of that, because what we were hearing, what Dr. Clemens was hearing, is that sometimes we're too late in packaging students, and so they're hearing from other institutions that they've been awarded financial aid. So kudos to Dr. Clemens and financial aid, and to the staff for all their hard works. For the first time, students are hearing from us earlier than they ever have that they're accepted and that they have a financial aid package. Would you give a recognition to Dr. Clemens? Spring enrollment, just so that you know as you're preparing for your classes, is flat for spring enrollment, and so we won't have to do some movement around. I know the provost will be talking about spring enrollment, but I want you to know where we are. Flat is okay, because as you've heard, we are short of beds, and so we're okay for that. But we will be increasing our efforts to secure more beds for the incoming students for fall, because applications are up. We expect enrollment to continue to increase. We are on track to meet our fall targets, and again, applications are up, so we know right now it's a very positive picture, and many accolades are owed to each of you who serve as ambassadors and getting the word out about all of the value that we bring to our students, and they're hearing it. They know it, and their families are hearing that. You might have noticed when you came back to the campus that there's some changes around here. I hope you noticed. For the first time, we have names on buildings. Yay! So when visitors come and they're trying to find the College of Business, they see a name. I know it sounds like a little small thing, but it means a lot to our visitors who are trying to navigate their way around the campus. There's new signage on the campus that helps individuals navigate through. And I know many of you, like me, have stopped along the way to help guide people to buildings. And Say, no, it's over here, you need to go over there. So these are ways that we're getting better visibly and helping our customers and our students as they come to the campus to know about Bowie State University. There are banners that are hanging that connote the images that we want you to share with our community about who we are and what we stand for. There are terms like pride and strength that we stand for that are displayed vividly on the banners that are now lower so that you can read them and you're not looking up at the sky trying to find the banners. So these are some of the changes that you'll see, and we haven't finished the signage project yet. And Ms. Robinson has been working with her team, leading the way. She accepted that baton, and they are working very hard to change the look and the feel of the campus and to make sure that we are we have the images out there that we want to have out there for the campus. So more to come on planning and design work on the interior signage, and that will resume in February. We will be embarking on a new project to look at the branding of the university and the image that's out there. I don't know about you, but I continue to hear that, oh yeah, Bowie State is about education. Yes, we're about education as a discipline, and that's where we started, that's our history. But we have so many more programs, 22 undergraduate majors, and so forth. We want our community to know about that, and so Ms. Robinson will be putting together a new team to look at branding and doing some focus groups. She will be working with a consulting group to look at the rebranding and making sure that the strategic plan is aligned with the image that we put out there, or the image is aligned with our strategic plan and our priorities. So you will be hearing much more about that. Let's talk about our students for a minute. At the top of the list, you will see something that I never thought would come to be in our education, and unfortunately is needed on our campus, and that is that we have a food pantry, but it is needed. And many of you have, and individuals across this campus have contributed to the food pantry. I hope one day that there will no longer be a need for a food pantry. But until that time comes, we do have a food pantry, and we're very pleased that we have garnered great support from major donors who have given to that food pantry and to many of our campus members who have given. So thank you. Last semester, through your contributions and our community contributions, we were able to help 50 students who were in need. And you know those, yes. You have to know that it's not easy for a student to come forward and say, I need food. So know that there are people who are in true need, and we need to help them. And so please continue to give to the food pantry, to give to our students, ensuring that they have the sustenance they need to learn, but just to thrive and to get up every day and get into the classes and to learn and achieve their goals. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm very pleased to announce that through the voter registration programs, we met great success. You may have seen activities here in the Student Center as our students have led the way, along with Student Affairs, in having peer-to-peer initiatives that got students out to the polls to vote. There's more we have to do on civic education. As you know, there just isn't enough happening in the 12th grade and P through 12th grade because of different cuts and twists and turns in terms of the focus, and that's something where I hope we can work together with our public schools and across this county in addressing civic education, getting more students understanding government, how it operates, and how their vote does matter. So we'll be working with the Provost on that for the campus. We have a new student customer concern process up and running so that we hear what's going on for our students. And you have, it's a rather long URL, and I'm going to hand off the baton to University Relations and Marketing. I'm getting ready to get pulled, I think. We need to probably shorten that a little bit, so we'll work on that. But if you hear from students that they're dissatisfied about anything, please point them back to the website where they can click on there and let us know what's going on. As a reminder, in the Office of the President, when a student complaint comes forward to my office, we have a system in place, we log it in, and it immediately goes out to one of the vice presidents, and within 24 hours, I expect that they respond to that complaint. If it takes, that doesn't mean everything is solved within 24 hours, but at least that student hears back from a member of the senior leadership team that they have acknowledged that they know what's going on and they are working to address it. If the complaint is not resolved within 2 weeks, I ask that each of anyone who's addressing the issue on the cabinet come and talk with me directly so I know what's taking so long. So that was already in place, but now students can go directly into this system so we can track and make sure that we're monitoring across the campus what's happening and if there are concerns. As we wrapped up the semester, I did announce that we would be changing the oversight for career development over to academic affairs, and that has indeed happened. And we will be announcing more changes as they get settled in the new oversight responsibility. For legal and government affairs, the coalition case you may have read in the newspapers, that is moving forward. We hope to get to a resolution. It has been in the courts for 10 years now, and it is my hope that we can, that it will be settled. The courts have ruled that the parties need to go back to a mediator. The last time it was put back to a mediator, I was asked to come in and share my thoughts on what we need as a campus. I'm hoping that that will indeed happen again, so I can share where I see the university going and what's needed to ensure the long-term viability of this institution for generations to come. So please continue to monitor our announcements to the campus. We are not parties to that coalition case, as I believe many of you know, but it impacts our campus, and I'm very much looking forward, and whenever someone asks, what do you need, I'm front and center to let them know. And so more to come on that. The Maryland General Assembly convened on January 9th on the slate of initiatives that we garnered great support around was the new humanities building. We were given $5 million to begin planning in fiscal year 20. Last year, I went before the legislators and asked that they move up the project from 2021 to 2020, and they heard us, they moved it up, and so we will begin that project, and that will have an impact on those departments that are operating, classes operating in the Martin Luther King building. We have other infrastructure needs, I know that, and I will continue to work. You're very welcome. I hear you, I'm listening. And I know that we need to keep working on our infrastructure. We need the environments that support the learning that's happening here on the campus, the teaching, the research, and I will continue to advocate for more resources for our infrastructure. So just know that I'm out there in this 90-day window of time. I'm back and forth to Annapolis and advocating for what we need. BSU Day, February 15th. I'm going to ask Karen if you will say more about that. Can you just talk a bit about what that means? Can you come forward and share more?
So during the 90-day legislative session, many of our campuses put on advocacy events in Annapolis. And the idea is to raise more awareness about what we do and what we need. This year, we are fortunate to be able to combine advocacy efforts with the recognition of our, free up your slide, recognition of our football team. And so the football team will be recognized by the House and the Senate, and then we will have students join the president to sort of visit legislators and talk about the things that Dr. Breaux has been advocating for. And so we'll send out more information once we've nailed down more details. USM does one every year. I believe they work with CUSIP and CUS and the various segments to put on their day. And so we just want to make sure that we remain top of mind in Annapolis so that we can keep bringing home those resources. So more to come on that.
Thank you, Karen. So as you heard, we're advocating, but I've said all along, I can't do this alone. So we will be sending out to the campus and to you some highlights of what's happening on the campus. So when you're asked the question, tell me what's going on at Bowie State University, I want you to be able to talk about all of these items. Please, in the meantime, take these items and share with your community, in your church, wherever you are, because we need you serving as ambassadors for Bowie State. I'm only one person. I wish I could clone myself, but I haven't learned how to do that yet. I think Dr. Uday's working on something like that. So far, he's only gotten the yams, but I'm hopeful we're going to get to working further on that. But we need to all be ambassadors for Bowie State University. So keep talking about the highlights and things that are happening. And that also ties in with the need for us to raise more funds for the university. Institutional Advancement has embarked on a new endeavor, BSU for Life, to help students understand they need to give back to the university from day one. BSU for Life is also about all of us recognizing the value in giving back in our time, in our talent, and our resources. And that includes, yes, I know you are among the faculty, you're teaching, but you also need to see us as an investment financially, give back to the endowment. We've got to grow that endowment, bring friends, family, everyone into under the tent to understand that our endowment needs to grow if we are to continue to do what we're doing on behalf of our students and their learning. On Giving Tuesday, $12,000 was raised from 195 donors, and that's quite an accomplishment. Please give a round of applause to Brent Swinton, Institutional Advancement. Many of you from across the campus gave to the Maryland Charity Campaign, and $11,000 was raised just in that one day for other charities to support the community needs. Thank you, and give yourselves a round of applause for that. I'm very pleased to announce since the inauguration last year in April, where I announced the Racing to Excellence Scholarship, over $145,000 has been raised for scholarships for our students. We will soon be launching a new campaign for fundraising to pick up pace so that we can grow that endowment, which is still it's over $7 million, but it still is not enough to sustain the operations as well as the scholarships needed for our students. We continue to lag behind with giving. And so as we talk about giving, I hope that you will all serve as ambassadors and help people to understand why we are of value and they need to give to Bowie State University. So let's celebrate and talk about achievements. And I want to talk a little bit about athletics before I turn this over to our provost and we kick off the day. Athletics, they are amazing. Our football team, they are the champions, and if you had a chance to follow along on the announcements that came out, our quarterback was on the field out in California at the Collegiate Bowl. He is an outstanding student athlete first. And he did an outstanding job on the field, but he is an outstanding young man in character as well as with academics. And that's the hallmark of our students here on this campus. Student comes first, and that is our model. And he is a great exemplar of that. Our football team, they won. We're going to celebrate them in Annapolis. And the women's basketball team, if you haven't been out to a game, folks, you got to get out to a game. Our women's basketball team is 15-1. Yes. They're just incredible, exciting to see on the courts. If you want to come up for air for marking papers and getting things underway, please come out for our basketball team, and especially cheer on our ladies who are incredible. Men's team is doing very, very well, but 15-1 is remarkable. So with academic affairs, there have been some changes with the International Program Office, and the provost will be working on the transition. She already has in place a coordinator of international student services, and she'll be saying more about that in her remarks. As you know, we went through a transition of leadership with the band. I'm very pleased that things are moving in the right direction. The band actually had an opportunity to perform at a local event, and that's what we've asked that they do, is to perform locally as we continue to go through an educational process with them to address the hazing that occurred among the band last semester. And so I'm very hopeful that we are reconstituting the band in a way that underscores the values of the university, and that we will be able to move forward and enlarge the band and create great excitement around the band. But they did actually perform at the announcement that we made that BSU will be hosting the CIAA tournament in 2021. Thank you. This is where you get to showcase what you're doing, so get excited. And Middle States and that process is getting underway very, very soon. You'll hear more about that from the Provost. We will be kicking off the launch of the Middle States process in February. So, we are continuing the race. And I thank you so very much for what you are doing on this race, on this journey with me. Again, I know that you're racing. I hear wonderful things about what our faculty are doing. I've seen it firsthand as I've traveled across the campus. And as we embark on this new endeavor with the Strengths Finder, I know that you are fully supportive on this race, this leg of the race. And I thank you for being here today, for all that you do throughout the year. It's amazing to see you all here talking and excited about the Strengths Finder. I was excited when I took the Strengths Finder about a year ago, and I knew it's something that we had to have here on this campus for our students. As a reminder, every student, first-year student coming into the campus took the Strengths Finder, but now the question is, what are we doing with that? Do you understand what the Strengths Finder is about? And so, in addition to having the students taking this, we felt it was important that you understand this assessment, how you can integrate it into the learning process, how we as a campus community can utilize it. As a little bit of a backstory, about a year ago, I had the chance to meet Jim Clifton, the son of Donald Clifton, who developed the assessment tool. He was actually here at Bowie State University. He visited here. He was excited about what we're doing here. And this is where we began this discussion of talking about how we can integrate the Strengths Finder into the curriculum, how we can make more use of it. And so I'm very excited, especially to see this come to fruition for the students, for our faculty, and these pieces are coming together in such a beautiful way. Donald Clifton, the psychologist who developed the exam, the assessment, he was a psychologist and a business executive. And he once said that emphasizing the development of selected, powerful talents is the route to excellence. And that resonated for me as we are talking about a race to excellence. This is where we need to be for our students and empowering them, not from a deficit model, because too many times our students are told they can't do things. They don't see the pathway forward. This flips the paradigm, and it goes to their strengths and how we know that they have strengths and helping them to build on those strengths. So I'm excited about today, about the work that you've already done, and I'm really excited to see what lies ahead. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being on the Race to Excellence. Let's get underway. And how do you, we have a different cheer around here now. We got to get this down. So you know on three, you know what to do when I say three. And when I say BSU, you know what to say, right? You know how to do that? This is the first test of today. Okay. 1, 2, 3. BSU! BSU! Thank you. Welcome to 2019.